Society 13 Podcast Network. Redefining podcasts. Society-13.com.
I like to listen.
You want to see something really scary?
You bet.
Music, horror, art, politics,
And overall badassery. Welcome to
Kettle Whistle Radio
For Real
on Society 13 Networks.
Faith No More.
What? I know that.
Cuckoo for Caca.
Cuckoo for caca.
Yeah.
Cuckoo for caca. I don't know if that's the best way to start off an episode, but why not? Yeah, so we're Cuckoo for caca here. I'll tell you what, man, if they're listening to this one, then they missed a good episode with Collide, the band Collide that you introduced me to.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful people, Corinne
Absolutely.
and Static. That was a great show. That was, I believe, episode 189. So just go back one. You can do the math there, folks. It's not too tough. But thanks for listening today, Kettle Whistle Radio. Folks, friends, and fiends, it's me and Sean. And I got to say, I think I found the worst driving to work music today from an unlikely person. Trying to start my day off, usually coffee and metal or something riveting to get me going. And I made the mistake of putting on a little bit of Chris Cornell. And yes, it's great music, but this is the stuff I have in my hands. I'm holding here the original motion picture soundtrack to the deluxe edition of Singles. Now, there's like unreleased stuff on here and a whole lot of Chris Cornell. But talk about bumming you out. Didn't exactly wake me up, and yeah, it brought me right down. But the music's wonderful, but you can hear it, way back then in his voice and the lyrics. Jesus, it's just like too much. But yeah, I'm still mad at him, and it's only recently that I have started listening to Kurt Cobain again, and I love Nirvana, but I couldn't listen to the music for a while. Soundgarden, I was getting back into them. I have their whole catalog. Saw them live a year or two ago, or 2 years just before he died. I guess it was maybe 3 years now.
Yeah.
Might be longer than that, because I went with Heather and Ms. D, and I think maybe that's 5 years ago they were in Pittsburgh.
Did you go when they played with the Nine Inch Nails?
No. They headlined, and it was at Stage AE in Pittsburgh. And he was phenomenal. Cornell was great. Ben Shepherd was having a little bit of a shit fit on stage, being a big baby, and he threw his bass. I don't even know what he was doing. But it was funny how they just kept playing and ignored his antics. But yeah, the Cornell stuff kind of bummed me out. So then I randomly, and this is strange, on my USB disc that I stick in my car every now and then, it has random music all over the place. But one of my old episodes came up because somebody wanted to hear it, I guess. God knows why. But yeah, episode 176 with Brian DeVoe of 9 Days, who's a great guy. They don't tune in to listen to me, folks. But Brian DeVoe of 9 Days, I grew up with him on Long Island, and episode 176 is him. And he had gone through a really rough period, and his parents both had passed away in a year, and but he has his own songs. I recommend going back to it, because listening to him kind of made me feel better, because it took me back to that place on Long Island. He talks about going attic diving and finding his old comic books. He wrote a great song about it called I Wish You Were Well, mostly about family, but the old times and remembering and nostalgia. And it just it put me in a good mind space and made me want to go record a show, because I was inspired by him, an old friend. And 9 Days, that's probably not your cup of tea. I don't know. I'm not really into pop music, but when I found out it was a friend, I really listened to the music more in depth, and I really became a fan.
I never really listened to 9 Days, but I will tell you, my wife does know his music.
Oh, so. Yeah, John is the lead singer, but Brian, like I said, they write the music together, and Brian's got an amazing voice for just doing back vocals on that, a lot of that stuff, and his own stuff, independent stuff, is great, and I'm hoping we get to hear some of that. But this is the best part about listening to that episode way back when, and it wasn't that long ago. But as I'm talking to Brian, I'm talking about how I do the show by myself. Misty and Heather departed to do other things, and so I was pretty much carrying the show, and it would be 2 days later, and I talk about it in this episode that I had tickets for Ministry, and Misty and Heather and myself all were going, and it would be 2 days later that I would meet you.
Yep.
And that was just strange how that came about, and I actually was talking about it. And I mean, yeah, that was what was that tour? What did they call that tour? Ministry. That was no, I don't even know.
I don't even know what they called it.
It was a great show. It was fun, but yeah. So and then the next thing I know, I have a co-host again, and we've been doing this now a couple of episodes now. You're about what, 6 or 7 in?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And Sean also let me borrow his hard drive with some of his music, and it came across as very creepily familiar. There was stuff on there that I couldn't believe you had, like Mark Lanigan and then Elbow. You like Elbow?
Oh, I love Elbow.
They're good.
They're an amazing band.
I found them by mistake too.
Yeah. Actually, I got into them, and I got into another band called Porcupine Tree at the same time.
I don't know them.
It's Steve Wilson. He's kind of like a Trent Reznor kind of guy. He writes and does all the music. But in Porcupine Tree, I think it was collaborative.
Okay.
But now he does all his own solo music. So it's a lot like Porcupine Tree was a lot kind of like not like Pink Floyd, but yet kind of like Pink Floyd in a way, but more more modern rocky version of that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Definitely,
rocky.
Definitely prog music.
Okay. Prog music. Okay, I don't like that. It's so funny. That's such a weird term. That goes from Tool all the way back to Rush, and Dream Theater. If you're from Long Island, you call them Dream Theater.
King Crimson.
There you go. It's such a. But yeah, I can't say I'm a huge prog fan, but there are times where there is definitely a time and place for that music in my life. And a lot of times it's driving on long trips and stuff. But let's see. There's a few things I wanted to talk about here. I wasn't ready to do it, but then I ended up posting on Facebook a rant on The Last Jedi. I don't know if I just took the bait that what's his face, my least favorite, Rian Johnson. Am I taking the bait with that movie? Meaning, is he alluding to the fact and lying to everybody that Luke is not, that Luke is dead, that he's found a way into the Force, he could find a way back out? Is that a possibility?
That's interesting. I haven't even thought of that.
I'm hoping for that, because this is the first time in my life that I'm not looking forward to a Star Wars movie.
Well, I think I said in one of the past episodes we did recently that, I felt like that character was just ruined.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he ruined it. He ruined it. Not Mark Hamill. Rian Johnson did. Bastard. But it's just like, he took a childhood hero of hope. And granted, I'm okay with heroes dying in movies, but it seems to me that he should have been in the third act. If you're going to kill off a major character, wait till the third act. Han went in the first. We knew that was coming. It fits the story. It was supposed to happen in Empire per Harrison Ford. And it made sense that he was going to sacrifice himself for the good of his family and friends. But the Luke thing, I mean, we're waiting for this huge comeback. And it ends up that the lightsaber battle with him and Kylo wasn't even a real battle.
yeah.
Lied about that too.
I mean, the ability that Luke projected in the movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But just underwhelmed by what we actually got in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not the actor's fault.
No.
It's the material.
Yeah. Definitely the material. I recently talked to my buddy John Towers, who you guys would know from the Apocrypha and other podcasts, Red Horse Radio back in the day, and he's on the Society 13 network that all of us are on here. I compared the fight Kylo Ren versus Luke as Bugs Bunny versus Daffy Duck. Luke being Bugs Bunny, pressing all the buttons, and here comes Kylo Ren dressed in black and doing the Daffy Duck freak out because Luke got under his skin. I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
But it was funny. But do I want everything in Star Wars to be funny? No. It should have been a real showdown. I understand what they were going, because Luke says, what does everybody want? Luke Skywalker, the legend, to show up and fight off the Empire with his laser sword all by himself. And technically, yeah, that's what he did. So that was I guess, sort of a joke on the audience. But then he's not really there, which is a joke on the fans. We wanted a little more Luke than we got. And to see him, he's just an old, bitter man. And I don't know.
I didn't buy it.
Yeah. He throws the lightsaber. Okay, that's funny at first, but this is the way now when he says he's not going to leave the island. He really doesn't leave the island. We even get a shot of his X-Wing in the water. I'm thinking, ooh, he's going to get that and change his mind. All this building to nothing. Admiral Akbar, killed off screen. What? I mean, he's a beloved character, and they kill him off screen? I know there's a problem. There's some friction with the actor that played Admiral Akbar because he didn't have a lot of speaking parts he had nothing in Rogue One, and he had nothing in Force Awakens. I think there was no Admiral Akbar talking, right? I don't think so. No, he didn't, because there's a problem there. But that's a problem in itself. You can't do that, and you kill a major character off screen. All right, my geekiness is coming out, and I put this thing on my Facebook page because I just had enough. I'm like,
well, I had other problems with that movie. Like, I think I read somewhere about I can't remember her name, but the lady that was from the first Jurassic Park that played the
Laura Dern.
Yeah.
The Holdo maneuver. Yeah.
So why didn't they just why didn't one of the robots or one of the something take over the ship? Why did she have to stay? I mean, it was just.
Yeah, it seemed they could even have an autopilot. And why wasn't this procedure used? Why couldn't they do that with all their ships all at once and take out an entire fleet? I don't know. There are parts of that movie I really like. I enjoy the battle scenes. I think we talked on this one where, what's her name? The new female character. Forgot her name. She goes on. They go casino shopping. Her and. Oh God, I'm just exhausted by the whole thing. But yeah, the fact that they go to this casino and they have a fruitless plan it doesn't come to fruition. They fail. The only thing that people have told me that you're supposed to get out of that is the little kid with the broomstick at the end showing hope in the universe, inspired by them crushing the casino with their, I don't know, stupid antics. And I literally fast forward through their whole little adventure. If I watch it again, I've watched it 4 or 5 times because I want it to get better, and it doesn't.
I saw it once in the theater. I saw it once at home, and I probably won't watch it again. Yeah, unless forced to.
Right, but I don't know. Is there any chance that he's pulling the wool over our eyes?
But I mean, if the original Star Wars movies, or even the prequels, if those come on, I will literally sit down and watch them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and even probably I would The Force Awakens too. And Rogue One and the new Han Solo movie, I would watch those repeatedly.
Yep.
I mean, those are all great movies. But the Last Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, he really, I don't know. He managed to piss off an entire legion. But yeah, anyway. So I don't know. Anything else on The Last Jedi for you? I mean, I didn't want to talk spoilers, 6 months ago, but it's all there now. So who cares?
No.
Yeah, moving on. Let's see here. So there is a website eventually going up that our buddies from Paranormal State, Katrina and Heather, who used to be on this show, are putting together. It's a paranormal website. I don't have an actual title for it yet, and I asked Heather today if there's a launch date. Not yet, but there's going to be true ghost stories on there written by people like myself that experienced something. And my something came during a life-threatening thing I went through. But the story's called Boozle, and we'll just leave it at that. That is the name of a cat. And the story itself, Heather liked it. It'll eventually be on this website that her and Katrina are putting together, among other paranormal stories and newer stories. So that should be interesting coming down the road. Are you going to contribute anything to that? Any real ghost stories?
I could probably contribute the stories of sleep paralysis that I've had,
Yes.
which is an interesting topic.
We keep avoiding that one. I don't know if this is when we're going to do it because this is totally unscripted. I don't know because your choice.
Well, I mean, for probably since maybe 1991, it all started at a friend's house. A friend lived in a very old farmhouse here in Pennsylvania, and it was an active horse farm. But the farmhouse was really old, from like early 1800s. It's actually a historic landmark. They can't tear it down or anything like that. So people still live there now, but my friend no longer lives there. His family doesn't live there anymore. But it all started there. I would, and for people that don't know what sleep paralysis is, you wake up, your mind wakes up, but your body doesn't wake up, and you feel as though there's a presence that's around you or near you, or something ominous is about to happen, and it's terrifying. And you try to force yourself awake. You try anything you can do. You try to call out. You try to scream. You try whatever you can do, but it doesn't come out. And usually when I pull myself out of it, it's like I've thrown myself awake, and it's really creepy. Sometimes it happens, and I feel like and it even happens to this day. It doesn't happen quite as frequently as when I was younger, but it does happen today. It happens in the home that I live in now. It's happened at my parents' house. It's almost like, something's followed you. It's happened at various apartments that I've lived at, and you get like sometimes when you're in the state and you know what's happening, it's like you get this creepy crawly feeling over your body, like something is trying to take you from your body, and it's just
been affiliated with alien abduction too. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, some people feel like they've joined the two together. I've just read a lot about it. I don't know if that's your case.
No, but I can honestly say that this has probably happened to me in the hundreds, easily 200-300 times.
Jesus.
Yeah, all from like 91, 92.
Wow. When's the last time it happened?
Maybe 3 months ago.
Wow. Has your wife witnessed this?
No,
she's asleep.
I don't think she's aware.
She sleeps through your hell.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've often wondered that.
Yeah.
If anybody nearby, my wife, of course, if she notices something, but we've never talked about it.
Now I'd be afraid to approach her with that one. You should ask her.
Yeah,
I want to know.
I will. Yeah,
really? Is it like for all you're floating up to the...
She thinks I'm weird enough already, so...
She finds you floating up to the ceiling. It's just Tuesday,
Don't worry about it. I'm just dealing with some stuff,
That's frightening. Now, what about your family? Like before you met her, this didn't happen when you were younger? Or did it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm 40 now. It's 2018. This has happened since '92. So I mean,
yeah.
it's happened at I've lived with friends. I've lived at my mom's house. Obviously, I've stayed other places that it's happened that I didn't live there. So it goes back to it's almost like something is with you or follows you, or you've opened yourself up to something somehow, and it's a part of you. But others think that it's just the mind that's waking up and your body's still asleep, and it has nothing to do with the paranormal. So, there's the non-believers as well.
Right. Well, I recently purged through methods of death myself, and am currently rebooting my life. I got sick. Something weird happened to me. There's kind of a family-oriented illness thingy, but I'm better now. It's gone, thank God. Knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, that's where I had my experience, and it was more than, well, I can't really talk about it yet because it's going to be a published story. on that site, like I said, once that's up and running. But yeah, hopefully you guys will check it out because it's funny too. It's not just this morbid thing, but I was just in a very weird state at that time, and it wasn't just medication. There was some weird shit going on. And if you're in an ICU long enough, they say shit will go down, either in your mind or the drugs or the people there. In my case, it was a combination of everything, but definitely environmental. It was creepy. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get more on that down the road. Something else we definitely wanted to hit on. We were going to talk about movies that rock, but in other words, soundtracks. Soundtracks that rock, and sometimes better than the film itself. I have lists. I have stacks. You hear that, kids? CDs. I have stacks of soundtracks. Soundtracks were the coolest way to find music because you got basically a variety pack of bands and different sounds. As opposed to now where it seems like they try to get all the same sounds on one soundtrack. Back then you could have Cypress Hill and Megadeth on the same soundtrack. Yeah. And I loved that. And that would be Last Action Hero, by the way. Yeah, Last Action Hero, one of the worst movies ever made. And ever. Could call itself a freaking action film. I have it right here. I bought the soundtrack, and I never saw the movie until I got drunk one night back in college, and it happened to be on, and I'm glad I don't remember too much from it because it was horrible. Awful. But this Last Action Hero soundtrack, on this alone, folks, AC/DC, Alice in Chains have two of their greatest songs on here. What the Hell Have I? And let's see here. Feeling Better. That's like one of my favorites. But Fishbone, Swim is fantastic. Cypress Hill, Cock the Hammer, one of my favorites. Yeah, a little better is the Alice in Chains, the other song. Anthrax, Poison My Eyes. Aerosmith, Dream On. I don't know how that got onto this soundtrack. But yeah, it's a classic song. And I joked about somebody writing a song called Last Action Hero. Somebody had to do it. Tesla did it. And I liked it. I'm a Tesla fan, but that song, not good. Let's see. Queensryche also ended up on there too. And Queensryche, let's see, which one was that? Real World, I can care less about that. But Megadeth, Angry Again, what a great freaking song. Mm-hmm. That's a great song. But yeah, that's it. This is Last Action Hero is a soundtrack worth looking into. Don't watch the movie, folks. Don't watch the movie. How about this down here? Before anybody knew who Buckethead was, he was on that soundtrack.
Michael Kamen with Buckethead.
Help me out. I don't know Michael Kamen. Should I? Fuck, useless today.
I think he had something to do with the Queen of the Damned soundtrack as well, which is another
fantastic soundtrack
and horrible movie.
And there it is.
Yeah,
it happens, folks. It's a real thing. There are some good ones. Okay, I gotta say, like I said, I said this previously. The Singles soundtrack, the motion picture deluxe soundtrack, came out a couple of years ago. You can't beat this. I mean, if you're a Seattle person back in the day. Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Chris Cornell, Paul Westerberg, formerly of The Replacements, for you youngins out there. Love Mongers, do the Battle of Evermore. That is Ann and Nancy Wilson. Mm-hmm. And it's an incredible reproduction of the Battle of Evermore, Zeppelin. Yep. Do you like that?
I love that song.
Mother Love Bone, incredible. Chloe Dancer's on there. And I found out this recently, going back to Chris Cornell. I didn't know this, that what's the guy, the lead singer of Mother Love Bone, I always forget his name, but
Andy Wood.
Thank you, Andy Wood. He was roommates with Chris Cornell. Mm-hmm. And I believe they shared, more than drugs together. I think it was music, but they definitely were partaking. And when Wood died, that affected Cornell and brought him to that place early on.
Yeah, actually, that Chris Cornell song that's on there is one of my absolute favorites that he ever did.
I hope it's not one I was driving to. Which one? Because now there's 5 of them on there on the new version.
Well, I didn't see the new version yet.
Well, let's see. Nowhere But You, Spoon Man, of course. It's a different version. It's a remix. Let's see. Flutter Girl.
I think from the original soundtrack, isn't it called Seasons? Solo.
Seasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful song.
That song.
I love
that. Brings me to tears.
Yeah. Well,
Even thinking about it.
And then there's Birth Ritual by Soundgarden, which is an incredible tune.
Yeah.
And let's see here. I love that Mudhoney got on here finally on this take of the sound. They should have been more prominent. They did their version, another version of "Touch Me, I'm Sick," which is great. They did "Touch Me, I'm Dick," and it's actually by Citizen Dick, who is our boy Matt Dillon's band. Citizen Dick singles. Great movie, great soundtrack. That doesn't happen often. Doesn't happen often. Mike McCready has a single on here as well on this remix, this reimagining of the single soundtrack. That's one where you got bonus on both ends, movie and soundtrack.
Yeah.
Anything come to mind for you? Because I have stacks, as you can see here. I think I'm going to play a commercial, so you think about it.
Okay.
All right? And we'll get right back to you.
I'm not afraid of the dark, but you should be. There are things that dwell here in the dark. Things best left unseen.
With the initial smoke cleared from the fall of tomorrow, the blood now flows even thicker with dwelling in the dark. 11 stories. All bits of the same mysterious puzzle, fitting together with horrific parallels to its predecessor. Get ready for new, truly terrifying tales set in the broken world from the fall of tomorrow. Take a closer look at what's now dwelling in the dark. If you dare. Available on Amazon in traditional print and ebook. Get your copy today. Visit www.fairlydarkproductions.com for more info on the author and his work.
Still here? Okay. Let's play a game.
Okay, we're back, folks, and thanks for tuning in to Kettle Whistle Radio, and Sean is here with me, and we're going through stacks of CDs. Those are albums, kids, things you don't get anymore, and
You gotta pay for your music.
yeah, and fuck you for not doing it. Let's see here. Okay, now this is where you'll disagree with me probably. That one that you're holding.
3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Yes, the Elvis impersonators, bank robbing, and all that fun stuff. Kevin Costner, Kurt Russell. I enjoy that. I own the movie. It's not the best movie. The soundtrack kicks ass.
Yeah.
You want to read some of those?
Yeah, so we have Head PE, Filter, very good. Nothing Face, A3.
Nothing Face I saw open for Ministry a long time ago. They're no more, but they were fun.
BT. I like BT. You ever listen to BT?
Off of that, and I found some other stuff, and I was surprised. Is that the one that has Head Noise on it?
Oh, Head Noise. Yeah, Head Noise is on here.
They're on here, and I've been looking for them, and today,
I own that album.
going through your music,
Yeah.
I was like, they do have an album.
Yeah.
And Sean has it. Now I have it. They're out of print. Otherwise, yes, I'd go buy it. Probably be $1 somewhere. It's a shame. But
yeah, that's actually a great. Head Noise. I didn't know they were on this, but I found them on the I think it was the La Femme Nikita soundtrack.
Wow, that takes me back.
Yeah, for the old TV show. I can't think of the lady's name that was the actress
Nikita?
in it, but the actual actress. But that soundtrack had Depeche Mode, Head Noise, all kinds of stuff. Wrote a lot of great stuff.
That's it. I just thought of this because I just looked down. What shirt am I wearing? My Slayer shirt from the final show, which was incredible. You were there with your brother.
Yeah.
I was up on the hill. You were up front somewhere.
Yeah, we were up near the stage. That was a great show.
Yeah, Anthrax, Testament, Lamb of God, Behemoth, who you love or hate. They're very bass heavy, but they're, would you call them death metal? They borderline.
Yeah, kind of black metal.
Doom metal. Doom metal. Yeah, we've talked about them before. Heather went to go see them. My boyfriend dragged her to see that, and she ended up liking it for the bass. But, you know.
Yeah, those kind of bands, again, those are kind of hit or miss for me because, you know, I really have to appreciate the music to appreciate the vocals, the guttural vocals that are in a lot of those bands. Like, you know, if I'm thinking of bands that are, you know, maybe not similar, but bands that I actually like Carcass or Pig Destroyer.
Yeah, Pig Destroyer.
Deicide or,
we talked about them.
You know, bands like that. So those are kind of the bands that I like. But Behemoth, I wasn't really a fan of.
That's what you said. Yeah, I didn't get to see them. I heard them from the parking lot.
I heard them from the yeah.
But yeah.
Parking lot antics.
A little bit going on there. Yeah. You may not be familiar with this one. This is where it's an even draw. Good movie, good soundtrack. American Hardcore: The History of American Punk from 1980 to 1986. There's some classic stuff on here. They didn't really miss too much. Bad Brains, let's see, Middle Class, Out of Vogue, Black Flag, Nervous Breakdown, Circle Jerks, Red Tape, Minor Threat, who I love. I have all their stuff, which they weren't around very long, but they did a nice body of work.
Did you like them better, or did you like Fugazi better?
It depends on my mood. If I'm in the mood for punk rock, that's the first thing I'll put on.
Yeah.
And Fugazi, I like them. To me, they're my soft rock, if you can imagine that. And they're really not. It's just I listen to extreme music like yourself. So,
Yeah.
But if I'm in a mood, I'll put that on. And I made the mistake. They bombed on 2 albums. I got the instrumental albums.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yuck. Big pile of yuck. Sorry, guys, but an instrumental of Fugazi? No. Anyway, I was back to this American Hardcore. Watch the movie, and then what are you laughing about? And then you should find the soundtrack. I mean, this is just so badass. DRI running around. Let's see here. I was a teenage fuck up, and I'm not talking about my paste tasting days back in Long Island when I was a child. That's actually a song by Really Red. I Hate Sports by 7 Seconds. Battalion of Saints does My Mind's Diseased. This is a great, I mean, if you like punk rock at all, it's essential to have the American Hardcore soundtrack. And here's where you probably will differ with me, again, depending where you are. I own every soundtrack to every movie that Rob Zombie has made. He makes excellent soundtracks that are fun and somewhat interactive because he puts blurbs from his movies in between songs. I love that. Takes you right back to it. House of a Thousand Corpses, I'm a fan of the movie. Love the soundtrack too. Even the Halloween films, I have both soundtracks, and they're amazing. I mean, you go to Halloween, you got Blue Oyster Cult, going back to that, and Tyler Bates did a lot of the mixing and producing. He produced this record. His music is great and everything. The Misfits are in it. They do Halloween Part 2. Alice Cooper, Only Women Bleed. That's just so Rob Zombie. Iggy Pop is on this Halloween soundtrack. Let's see here. He threw Kiss on there, God of Thunder. I am not in the Kiss Army. I am in the Slayer Battalion. Yeah. So I don't know where you are with that.
I was never a Kiss fan.
Okay.
I can appreciate Kiss, but I was never a Kiss fan. Yeah.
With Nazareth, Peter Frampton. For some reason, 10 o'clock every Saturday morning when I just want to hear like easygoing 70s music or whatever, and I'll put that on just to have it blasting through the house. For some reason, at 10 o'clock every Saturday, they play frickin' Frampton Comes Alive. I am so fucking sick of that song. I never liked it. And it's the live version that goes on for like 15 minutes. Yeah. So you know there's a DJ taking a shit somewhere during that whole period. Like, dude, can you put Stairway to Heaven on or something? God's sakes. But yeah, so yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween, great soundtracks, and Devil's Rejects. I love this one. Great movie, great soundtrack. And the Free Bird death scene at the end.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to have a Rian Johnson moment here? Because there's a third one coming out, or rather, Devil's Rejects Part 2. I don't know what they're calling it. Oh, 3 from Hell. I have the T-shirt.
Yeah.
3 from Hell. I saw they played that trailer at the Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson Twins of Evil show.
Did
Yeah, they showed it.
I didn't make it to that show.
It was good.
Did you like that show?
Manson was lo-fi, and we hope he's okay now because he has collapsed on stage since then and quit the show after the one I saw. He was good. He was not himself. Him and Rob Zombie doing Helter Skelter was spot on.
Yeah.
Great way to end the show. Rob, using his stripper moves, that dude dances like crazy. He's learned all his moves from his wife and other strippers.
Ridiculous. I mean, he really entertains and puts on a great show.
Well, now he's got shiny pants with fringes on it, and he shakes his hips like a girl. But he is a very entertaining dude, and I love him, so I don't care. But yeah, Devil's Rejects gets a 2 thumbs up soundtrack and movie. You got something along the line of soundtracks? Anything? I got more. Trust me, I can go on all day with this shit.
Well, we got other stacks here, but one of my favorite movies that also has a great soundtrack is the first Underworld movie.
Ah, yes.
I don't know if you have that soundtrack. I think you have the second movie.
Yeah, it's the second one,
Evolution.
but that's a good one.
They're all good.
They're all good. You're right. But Evolution we like for the same reason. Pussifer and God damn it.
Well, the first soundtrack has the guitar player from Limp Bizkit and Richard Patrick from Filter did that.
Man.
Did
Damning Well.
The Damning Well. That song is amazing.
Hidden gem, folks. Even if you don't like Kate Beckinsale as a vampire, which I think you're insane, you are buy the soundtracks. Go find the soundtrack. That first Underworld is amazing. Soundtrack.
Well, I remember I bought the soundtrack specifically because when Skinny Puppy got back together and they were going to release their new album. One of the songs that wasn't on the album they released on that soundtrack called Optimized, I believe. And that's the main reason I picked that up. And of course I love vampires, so I saw the movie. Loved the movie.
Well, I mean, look at her. How can you, come on now. Yeah, there's a lot of good music on here. Oddly enough, Lacuna Coil got on this one. Christina Scabbia. Is it Scabbia or Scabia? I think it's Scabbia. Scabbia just sounds better. Sure. Those crazy Italians. They're just actually very sweet people. Lacuna Coil, once again on the Underworld Evolution soundtrack, they've been known to walk around in the crowd during shows. And when they were on the Ozfest tour, she herself was up on the hillside, walking through the grass, meeting people. And she's tiny, just a little thing, but sweet. And her voice will knock you over anyway. She belt those things out, man, like crazy. But she's just kind of walking around like a fan at Ozfest, meeting people. And they did that Ozfest. It was like, I found that charming.
My memories of Ozfest were pretty much drunken stupors.
Oh yeah, before, during, and after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's just that's why when I say that something's amazing, it's amazing. I remembered it.
Yeah.
And it stuck out,
Yeah.
And then the next day, the pain and the bruises.
I saw some really great bands that I always wanted to see at Ozfest, and purposefully missed a lot of bands that I did not want to see by sleeping at Ozfest.
Oh no! Did you sleep on the hill? I know people have done that.
Oh yeah,
in the grass.
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the mud flinging days. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
dangerous.
You
could die.
I think I forget the ordering, but I want to say it was like Fear Factory played, and then maybe Linkin Park played, and we fell asleep for Linkin Park. Like, let's just lay down for a little while and take a nap, and we'll wake up for the next band, and that's what we did.
Very cool.